Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received, and the translation, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I have come here to tell you my own story of how I gave my life to Christ the day when we fell from the sky, when we were riding inside of a python. So this python, whenever we wanted to go to bewitch other people, if it was a lot of us that were supposed to go on that mission, then we would get inside that python. This python, when you would be looking at it from the outside, it would be like a bus, just a normal bus. Only that this bus won't be traveling on the road, but it will be flying across the sky. So this python was one of the topologies that we would use as a form of transport. And if it happened that it was just a couple of us that wanted to go and bewitch other people, we would use this other reed basket. Then we would fly across the sky, going to the place where we wanted to go to so that we can bewitch other people. So when I gave my life to Christ, there was one amongst the witches from our village. It was her turn. She was supposed to bring to us human meat to eat, and she was supposed to sacrifice one amongst her relatives, and she had chosen a nephew and had said that this is the one that I have chosen to be my sacrifice. So he was someone that prayed quite a lot, and she thought that even though the man went to church, he was just someone who just went to church so that people can just say that this one is a Christian. She never thought that this man, he was very serious about the way that he used to pray, and everything that he did, he always made sure that he prayed first. So when she had managed to make this man to be so sick, because he was diagnosed with TB, but this was not like TB, a natural disease, but this was a disease that she had caused, and he was suffering quite a lot. And she then told us in a meeting that now she thought it was time for us to go and finish up, and we were supposed to kill him, and we agreed that we were going to do this because we wanted to eat his meat. So then that was when we made a decision. So whenever we wanted to go somewhere far, we would leave our village starting from 6 to 6:30 so that we can be in that village where our victim was staying. So this man was staying in a village which was very far away. So we had to go there as early as possible in order for us to finish up our work in time and to return back before the sun had gone up. So then that was when we met at our usual meeting place, and all of us, we had eaten human flesh before the sun had gone down. And after the sun had gone down, that was when we went to our usual meeting place where we used to meet up with each other in our village. So everyone was there, and then that was when we decided that since we were going together, we were supposed to use one of our topology, which was a snake. We then got inside that python and we started traveling across the sky. When we arrived in that man's village, then that was when this python fell from the sky. And when this python fell from the sky, we got caught up in this very big tree, but we managed to get out of the body of the python. Then we climbed down the tree. When we got into the yard of that man whom we wanted to finish off, that was when we saw an angel. This angel gave us a warning to return back, otherwise we were going to be harmed by that angel, and we ignored. So some of the witches that I was with, they were afraid, and they said that it is time for us to return back. This man is still very powerful. We will come back another time. But as for me and that woman who had sacrificed her nephew, said we need to finish up this job today. It's today or never. So me and the other women, we then decided to remain behind to finish the job. So then we made a decision that since it was only a few of us that were going to remain behind, we were going to use our basket, the reed basket that we would use as a transport returning back to our village, and the others that were cowards that were going to return back to the village, they were supposed to use the python. So that was the arrangement that we made. We then walked into the room where this man was sleeping. The moment that we entered there, we saw an angel, and this angel made us to become its prisoners. We were unable to leave that yard. Throughout the night, we were chained together by this angel, and we could not leave. We could not untie ourselves, and we felt so powerless until the sun came out. When the sun came out, the people that were staying at that house, they were all shocked to see that there were naked women in a corner that were bundled together, that were unable to move or to do anything. When these people saw us, we started crying and we started pretending as if we had lost our minds. We were people that were running mad. They started screaming, "Witches, witches," and they wanted to beat us up. So, Brother Nashi, that was when we saw that there was a police officer who was staying at that house. We begged that man to arrest us and told him that the law of the country says that there is nothing like witchcraft and it is not allowed to beat up someone claiming that they are witches. The man then took us to a police station. When we arrived at the police station, we were arrested on the charges that we had been walking around whilst we were naked, even though the police officers knew that we were witches. For everyone could see that these people, they are witches, but we were arrested since we had been walking around naked. After we had been arrested, whilst we were waiting for the dockets to be filled up, that was when I just wanted to read the Bible. I then asked one of the police officers if they had a Bible somewhere, and then that was when he gave me his phone. He was someone that went to church, and he said, "Read the Bible on my phone." So I read the Bible just a little bit and I returned it back to him. I did not even know that the pastor who had prayed for us before we had been taken to the police station, he had planted a seed in my heart. He had prayed for all of us, including the other women that I was with. At night, Brother Nashi, I was taken to a witch's court where I was punished, where I was told to sacrifice all of my children because I had accepted Jesus Christ wholeheartedly. The others, they had just faked everything in order to avoid for us to be beaten. But as for me, the seed, I had allowed that seed to be planted in my heart, and they told me that the sacrifice and the punishment was that I was supposed to kill 2 of my kids, and this was what was supposed to be done. I kept on praying. We then went to court and we were sent to prison. For 2 months we were in prison, and whilst we were in prison, I kept on praying and I said, "God, I heard that my children, they are very sick. Please heal my children. You know all the sins that I have committed. I have given up my life to you, and I want you to forgive me. Only you can protect me from my friends. I know the damage that they can do. I know that they can take my life away, just like I used to kill other people. They can now kill me as well, for I am no longer friends with them. We are now enemies. Only you, God, can protect me." When we came out of prison 2 months later, we returned back to the village where we were staying. People were surprised and people, they were gossiping around. But as for my husband, he did not even care. You know why? My husband never even cared about the way that people were gossiping about me and the other witches, saying that these people, they went to another village to bewitch a certain man, but they were found naked early in the morning. They were unable to return back to this village in time. They were embarrassed by their spirit of witchcraft. As for my husband, he never cared because when I started staying with my husband, knowing that I was a witch, I then spoke with my friends, and one amongst my friend gave me the fur of a hyena, and I then gave it to my husband whilst he was fast asleep. The night when I fed my husband the fur of a hyena, he had a dream, and in that dream he was busy eating a cake. But what he did not know was that I was feeding him the fur of a hyena. That is what I did to my husband. So I fed him this fur of the hyena, so that if someone will tell him that your wife is a witch, he will never believe that person. If someone tells him that, do you know that when you are fast asleep, your wife will be traveling across the country with her witch friends, and they will be bewitching other people? He will never believe such a thing. I did this so as to control him, so as to make sure that if I go out to bewitch other people, when I return back, I will find him sleeping and not having any bad dreams about me being a witch. So that is the reason as to why he never believed anyone who told him that I was a witch. But Brother Nashi, that was the day when I saw that even though you feel like you are very powerful as a witch, but when you have met the angel of God, you will see that you are powerless and you do not have any power at all. This is my own confession. When you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. I stopped being a witch the day when we fell from the sky. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our listener right there. So after she had given me her confession, when I had a conversation with him, that was when she told me that it was her grandmother and her grandmother's friend who made him to eat peanuts. And she says that when you have a child, you need to be very careful. And she says that her mother and her father, they used to stay in the city. Her father was a police officer and her mother was a nurse. So they used to send her to the village for a holiday each and every time when the schools would have closed. So she was like, even if it is your mother, but do not trust anyone with your child, because her grandmother made her to go and eat the peanuts at her friend's house. So these peanuts was what opened the spiritual door that her grandmother was unable to open, even though she used to feed her some charms whenever she would be in the rural areas during the schooling holidays. And when the holidays will be over, she will tell her that when she goes back to the city, she was never supposed to tell her parents that this was what was happening. And she says that her mother, even though she used to go to church, she was a fake Christian, and her father as well was someone that never liked to go to church. So this made it possible for her grandmother and her friends to visit her whenever she was back in the city. They would even leave some charms. She says that there were times when her grandmother wanted to bewitch other people that were staying in the city, that were from the village, that had came to work in the city. So she would come at night and she would leave some of the charms that she wanted to use that she could not carry back to the village. So she would keep them at her daughter's house, and her daughter did not even know that there were other things that she was staying with in her house, as well as the tokologies who used to finish up food. Like her parents would buy a bag of Millie Meal. Within a couple of days, the bag of Millie Meal will be finished. So they did not understand what was going on yet. These were the topologies that would have been left behind by her grandmother and her grandmother's friend. So she says that you need to be careful at all the times with your kids, especially your daughters, because they can be initiated quite easily into witchcraft. So after she had eaten the peanuts, then her grandmother was able to visit her in her dreams to initiate her to teach her all about witchcraft, and she had to sacrifice both of her parents. Her grandmother had tried once to sacrifice her daughter, but she was unable to do so, and that is why she wanted to initiate her granddaughter. And after she had initiated her, they both helped each other, and her parents, they both passed away in an accident. She then left the city and she started staying with her grandmother. So our sister was saying that from the time when she was 18 until the time when they fell from the sky, she had sacrificed 4 people amongst her relatives. She started with both of her parents and then 2 other amongst her relatives, one from her father's side and one from her mother's side. They were the people that she sacrificed to the witches club. So that is some of the things that she told me after she had given me a confession. And she even said that she had a cat. This cat disappeared when she gave her life to Christ. This cat used to follow her wherever she would go to. This cat would follow her. And sometimes if she wanted to bewitch someone, this cat would go and will start to stay at that person's house, such that the person will see this cat in their yard at all the times. So the person will just think that maybe it is just a normal cat. But what they would not know is that this is not like a normal cat. It will be a spiritual cat, a monitoring spirit that she would have sent. So she was saying that whenever you start to see all of a sudden a cat or 2 cats always hanging around your yard, sometimes you can ask your neighbor, if it is not your neighbor who is a witch, to know if they are also seeing these cats or a cat that will be hanging around their house, in their yard at all the times. If it happens that in your street it is only you where these cats seems to enjoy to hang around your house at all the times, then you need to know that there is someone that is monitoring you. And when you have a dream and you see a cat in your dream, she says, wake up and pray, because the battle, the spiritual battle against your life, it has begun. And the person that will be bewitching you, they might have found a spiritual door that is open. Like she says that her parents, before they had an accident, her mother used to say, I see you in my dreams playing with a cat. Do you want a pet, a cat? And she did not know that it was a bad thing to have dreams and you see cats in your dreams, because it means that there is someone who has found an open door in your life and they're going to use that door to bewitch you, to take your life away. So those are some of the things that our dear sister told me. If you have any questions that you want me to ask her, you can tell me in the comment section. Then I would copy and paste your comment and I would give it to her. Let's meet again in the following episode.